So what's going on, guys? My name is Mr. Dalek JD, and the very first comic issue of the Call of Duty Zombies story has just gone live on the iTunes store. The comic doesn't officially go out into stores as a physical comic until later on next week, but for some reason it went live early on the iTunes store. And in this video, we're going to be generalizing the storyline that happens in this first comic. Now, there are a few spoilers here and there, so if you do want to avoid any spoilers and read the comic yourself, then be sure to click off this video, go read the comic, and then come back and we'll discuss everything. But if you want to hear about the story and any potential spoilers, then you're in the right place. Now, I won't go into every specific detail on the comic, but I will be bringing up some very nice things. There are a ton of Easter eggs and some ciphers as well within the comic, which we will be talking about over the next few days in future videos. But if you guys are excited for the very first comic of Call of Duty Zombies, then be sure to smash that like button. Let's get straight into it. Now, if you're unaware what this comic is all about, it's following the story of the Transit characters from the end of Buried, the sort of ending of our Transit character story, and this is picking up exactly where we left off. The very first page is actually a synopsis from Richtofen talking about the world and this entire timeline, and he describes it as the scourge of the undead which spread across every corner of existence. Many worlds, many souls were lost, broken, or forgotten. Many, but not all. And he's of course referencing the Transit characters. They seem to be teleporting through a rift into a destroyed, beaten up town, and it's here where they are fighting for survival. Richtofen says, "Sometimes I think about the pain that I've caused, the suffering I inflicted on those around me in pursuit of my own selfish agendas. It really makes me quite nostalgic." He goes, Russman, so many secrets, so many layers, like an onion. Dear old Stuhlinger, blessed with the gift of my voice inside his head. Martin, the engineer know-it-all, and Misty, the girl who will ensure this endeavour is a resounding success. And even Richtofen calls Martin a nerd, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And he says, "My name is Edward Richtofen, and I've been trying so very hard to do the right thing." Now, where have we last heard that from? Of course, that is the Richtofen Memories trailer. Now, it has been a very long time since we last saw these characters, so it'd be interesting to see if any of them have changed, and the characteristics are pretty much the same, but it seems there's an outcome where the characters are almost about to get killed in one way or another, and they get saved by another character. For instance, there was a point where Misty was about to be killed, and suddenly Martin comes in and saves her. And exactly the same with Russman. He's going and dealing through some bins to try and find some food, and then out of nowhere he goes into a deserted area full of food, and of course there's zombies roaming around, and then out of nowhere Stuhlinger comes and saves him. But the most interesting thing about this story and what we learn from the first bit of the comic is that even after Buried, Richtofen is still talking to Samuel within his head. The fighting of a ton of zombies in this area, and even Stuhlinger says, "This is not where we're supposed to die here. Keep shooting." And he goes, "I did what you told me to do. This wasn't part of the deal. We had a deal." Now, it's not until we get to the end of the comic that we notice a zombified Richtofen, it appears like, coming towards our characters. This is the World War II version from the Giant, and it's a zombified Richtofen heading towards our characters. Now, if we remember the end game of Buried, where Maxis became the ruler, he put Richtofen in the body of a zombie, and this could be the explanation on why we're seeing that, but it doesn't make sense for the World War II version of Richtofen from the Giant onwards to be like that. And we've never seen it like that, except in the shadows of evil jump scares. This is super interesting, but it's like there's a Richtofen zombie coming towards our characters, yet Richtofen is communicating to Stuhlinger. It doesn't quite add up. Our characters make their way up into the top of a rooftop, they get inside and crash into an office and board it up and everything, and this is where all of our characters are questioning Stuhlinger. There is a ton of zombies coming towards them, and they were forced to climb up a ladder up to the very, very top of this rooftop, and Stuhlinger goes, "This was the plan. I told you there was a plan." And then people are like, "If this was a plan, it was a bad one." And he's like, "I didn't say it was a good plan." And then they want reassurance that this is actually what's going on. And Stuhlinger says, "My friend says this is the next evolution and that they're needed." Zombified Richtofen then charges the rest of the horde to attack the sort of rooftop that our characters are measured in. And with the CCTV that Martin's got set up, they can see this zombified Richtofen, and they're asking, "Who is he?" And Rossman replies saying he's the one that's in charge. And then Stillinger goes, this is not where we're supposed to be. We have a destiny. We don't have to live this way. Then all of a sudden, there is this crazy spurge of electricity and zombies ramming their way into the area, and looks like they're about to die. They start taking out the zombies and whatnot. Everything's going crazy. And then Stillinger goes, I told you we can't stay here. And then he sort of shouts out to Richtofen saying, I did what you want. I got us together. You're going to have to meet me halfway here. A little freaking help. Then out of nowhere, a rift portal opens and they make their way inside. They teleport in through the rift, and this zombified Richtofen just literally ends with smiling at this rift, and that is the end of the comic. But we get another shot, which is the most insane thing ever, and it is a additional loading screen of Nuketown zombies with more artwork that we've never ever seen before. Now, I believe that this isn't actually anything related to the comic book or what's going to happen once our characters come out of this rift. We know that the synopsis of the second comic is that Russman and the rest of the crew enter the Broken Arrow, which is the place where Russman used to work. And there's a really infamous quote from Black Ops 2 Zombies, which says, Broken Arrow showed him how to open up new worlds. And this is going to be very, very important coming into the next issue of the comic and further on, because it's something to do with some equipment or some secrets in Broken Arrow which Russman never made clear during Black Ops 2 that is going to help open up new worlds and help the crew, and Richtofen more so, find the summoning key. Now, I didn't go specific in every single detail. To sum it up briefly, the characters get teleported to this random area, and it seems that Stillinger has some hindsight. Either Richtofen's told him that there's a chain of events that have to be set in motion, and they have to follow exactly what Richtofen's told Stillinger to do with the rest of the crew, so that they can help Richtofen find the summoning key. That's going to be the overall story synopsis of the entire 6 issues of this comic, and there are 2 ciphers already seen and found within this comic, and there's possibly going to be even more in terms of ciphers and Easter eggs to find. I'll of course be bringing you more videos on the comic very, very soon, so be sure to subscribe to keep yourself updated on even more awesome info on this. Is this brand new information and storyline to do with the Transit characters. But if you enjoyed the video, drop it a like rating, be sure to subscribe for more, and I'll catch you next time.